All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this interesting article came across my way from ScreenRant. Now, you guys know ScreenRant is one of those websites that is, it's a shill website, okay? There's no doubt about it. It's perfectly fine. They're allowed to shill if they want to shill. But unfortunately, it becomes very obvious when you start mentioning things that shouldn't even be in a game review to begin with, right? When you have a scoring metric that is based around diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you're trying to utilize that to hate on a game that every single shill media website has been trying to hate on for the past couple of months, it makes it pretty obvious what your overall ideology is regarding these games. Now, this particular article, I came across and I posted it on my Twitter, and I said the fact that inclusivity and diversity is a scoring metric for ScreenRant speaks volumes on the legitimacy of this website.
Boo this man!
Now, again, guys, keep in mind, they are talking about Black Myth Wukong, which is a game that I am super excited for, and I cannot wait to play it, especially now. Now that I'm seeing the reviews come out and certain shill websites are making it very obvious where they stand, I just cannot wait to play this game more than I already was before all the drama, because this game is right up my alley. It's a Souls-like game, and I'm super excited for it. I came across this picture, and I decided to post it. And if you look at this picture, this is a essentially a screenshot from the review that we're going to get into, mind you. But it's a screenshot with a score of 3.0, so essentially 3 out of 5 stars. And it said the pros are the combat is fluid and fun. Cinematography can be breathtaking at times. Great diversity in items and mechanics. However, the cons are the game performance is unpolished, lacking in inclusivity and diversity, and the gameplay becomes repetitive over time. So let's get into this article, guys, from ScreenRant. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, we got some juicy information regarding this, because apparently, not even just a few minutes before filming this video, they removed the author's name from the review. Yes, apparently they tried to do it for safety reasons. There's an editor note here, and I have a screenshot that was shared to me in my DMs, and it says, editor's note, the author's name has been removed for their safety. So I decided to verify it. I went to the actual article, which I'm going to show you again right now, but it says that the article was written by ScreenRant team. So they did, in fact, remove the person's name. Now, again, just for verification, here's the article here where they're talking about the inclusion and representation. But the thing is, this is the author who decided to write this article. This person, Samar Abedian, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I apologize if I am not. But I figured it would be good to give you context over who wrote it, even if they're trying to hide it, because ultimately it goes to show why they decided to write their piece in this manner, right? So the author detail says Samar is a senior gaming writer for ScreenRant with a classics degree from King's College London. Samar has combined her passion for art, fantasy, and gaming with her flair for writing and storytelling. She is passionate about creativity and cultural representation within entertainment media and enjoys writing about games that value diversity and inclusivity. So yes, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, a game that is a Chinese game, a game that's based in Chinese lore, a game that's essentially is, for all intents and purposes, diverse, at least to their definition anyway, is not diverse enough, right? And whatever that reason is, I'm not really sure. So that's why we're going to read this article and get into this particular portion. Let's find out why this Chinese game is not diverse enough for Samar. So it says, while my analysis and review of Black Myth Wukong remain focused on gameplay, it's important to mention, which, by the way, gameplay, that should be the focus, right? Graphics, how the game is playing overall, and the actual gameplay, whether it's fun or not, what the combat mechanics are, how are the bosses, all that stuff should be the only relevant information for a Souls-like game review. Like, diversity, equity, and inclusion should not have a fucking place in whether or not a game gets scored well or not, because at the end of the day, you cannot play diversity, right? Diversity is not something you play. Diversity is something that happens to be in a game that you're playing. But at the end of the day, you are playing the game, and if it's fun, if it's something that you enjoy, then you should tell people why it's fun and why you enjoy it. To talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion is stupid, and everybody knows that. Even some people on my Twitter page that normally hate me are agreeing that this is absolutely dumb. But anyway, let's continue. She tries to mention that it's important that the controversy surrounding the game studio and reports of misogyny and sexism from developers playing as a female gamer allowed me to notice issues surrounding inclusion and representation. So this person who is now deleting themselves from this review, right? Or ScreenRant deleted her from the review. This same person is apparently okay with creating false reports of other developers, right? So we all know that the Rebecca Valentine articles from IGN that have talked about this particular developer, Game Science, and how they're misogynist, sexist, and all that stuff was mistranslated purposefully by Rebecca Valentine to showcase her narrative, right? We already know this. This has been proven through multiple actual real translations of what was said versus what she said they said, right? So we know this, okay? But this person, and just like many other shill media websites, are continuing to harp on the same exact thing that Rebecca Valentine accused them of, knowing that it's not true, and they continue to do it anyway. So yeah, I don't feel sympathy for this person. But it says, playing as a female gamer allowed me to notice issues surrounding inclusion and representation. So only female gamers know about inclusion and representation? Only female gamers can notice this stuff? Are you guys just so... See, this is the problem. Are you so amazing that, you know, because you have estrogen in your body, that you're able to have the empathy to see issues around inclusion and representation in a game that you should not be looking for that in the first place? It's dumb. As far as chapters 1 and 2, while characters are clearly fictitious and fantastical creatures, there were no female or feminine NPCs, enemies, or bosses present. What does it matter? What does it matter? Because you know what? I know. Here's the funny thing, right? This is why I can't take what they say seriously. I want you guys to reverse what she just said. Imagine if she said, in a fictitious and fantastical creature setting, that there were no male or male NPCs, enemies, or bosses present. Do you think she would be complaining about diversity, equity, and inclusion at that point if there were no male NPCs? Of course not, ladies and gentlemen. The only exception, if you can call it female, is a boss named the Mother of Stones in Chapter 2, which is nothing more than a still glowing rock with no abilities being guarded by other enemies. The lack of diversity and inclusivity resonates with the misogynistic comments reports that have been made by developers, which express disdain for women playing their games. That's not what happened at all, but anyway, let's continue. Although Black Myth Wukong does have truly enjoyable moments, the underlying feeling that women aren't welcome in the world felt present throughout my gameplay experience. You are playing a game about the fucking Monkey King, okay? I want you to understand where we are right now. You're playing the game about the Monkey King, and you're worried about whether or not women are accepted or I don't know, pandered to. I really don't know what word you're trying to find here, but you're worried about that in a game that's based off the fucking Monkey King. That's what you think. That's what people are looking for when they play a game called Black Myth Wukong? Are you serious right now? It's worth noting that the game is based on the novel Journey to the West, which does consist of a few important female characters. To not include any women in the initial chapters of an adaptation meant for a modern audience is quite disconcerting. See? This right here. This is where you got it confused. Right here. This game is not meant for the modern audience. You see, that's the problem. You can't even say who the modern audience is. Every time you ask this question to somebody like like a urinalist or something like that, they never have an answer. They say, oh, the modern audience, I don't know, it's just modern gamers. What does that mean? Because it's the same gamers that have been playing games forever. Some are older now, some have had kids and they're younger. So who's the modern audience here? Can you explain that? No, because this game is not meant for the modern audience. We know exactly what you fucking mean by modern audience. It's anything who isn't a straight white male. So this game is not meant for the modern audience. Simple as that. They never once claimed to be meant for the modern audience. The fact that you're trying to say that the game was meant, an adaptation that was meant for the modern audience, when the developers never once used those words, that's you. That's your problem. You're the one saying that. Nobody else is saying that. While this doesn't take away from the exhilaration and fun of boss fights themselves, women fans of Souls-like games may have a different perspective. They won't. Especially given that, according to reports, the developer also suggested that women aren't capable of enjoying or being skilled at these type of games. You mean the stuff that Rebecca Valentine purposely mistranslated to fit her narrative? Yeah, the stuff that you're not even bothering to look into or translate yourself because that's just too much work, I guess. Listen, real female Souls gamers are not going to give a fuck about whether or not there is a female in this game. They are going to play it regardless. There is no doubt about it. And I like how your entire diversity, equity, and inclusion narrative is bolstered by only chapters 1 and 2. What about the other chapters? Is this game only made of chapter 1 and 2, or is there other chapters that may feature a female character? But at the end of the day, even if there is or isn't a female character, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. You say this all the time. You say it doesn't matter, it's fictional, it's not real, it doesn't matter. So why does it matter now? Oh, because you're not getting your way. I see. The The irony behind this sentiment is that Black Myth Wukong is among the easiest of Souls-like games and may have been overestimated its ability to hang with them in terms of difficulty. While thematically and stylistically it undoubtedly falls under this category, it does not fit the bill in the technical skills required, such as is achieved by games like Elden Ring, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and many more. So again, ladies and gentlemen, they decided to score this game a 3 out of 5 because it's very clear that the person who reviewed this game is someone who does not like games like this, right? And that's okay. You don't have to like a game that you're reviewing, but you need to not show your bias when you're actually reviewing the game. Even IGN gave it an 8 out of 10, and IGN is one of the most biased fucking websites out there. So I think it's hilarious that you are showing your true colors here, and you're making it very easy to see that you're such a hardcore show. And people are calling you out so much that you decided to remove your name, as seen here from the actual article, from this review. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.